With people living longer, more and more people are suffering through dementia or Alzheimer's, and this video, exciting, is going to be about products that I found to be perfect for use with people with dementia or Alzheimer's, and it'll make their life much richer and easier, and it'll make your life much easier as well. So I'm Adrian, and today we're going to look at 4 products that are great for setting up in a home, a hospital room, assisted living, or a memory care unit. Like I said, if you never dealt with people with dementia, so I've spent a lot of time in memory care units, assisted living facilities. I'm also a nurse in Florida, so thousands of people with dementia. But if you're just kind of experiencing this for the first time, maybe with your parents, you'll see right away that it's like simple things that you would assume any adult could do, or even a 5-year-old could do. A lot of times people lose the ability to do that. So they can still carry on a conversation, tell you great stories, but then you'll be like, press the red button, and they're like, what button? The button right there. What do you mean press the button? Get your finger and press it. And so what happens is a lot of times people get so frustrated. I've spent a lot of time talking with families also in assisted livings, and you know, they have similar problems, which is how do you communicate? How do you keep your loved one from being completely bored because they can't figure out how to do anything or watch TV? A lot of times they can't read anymore. Even though they can read, they can't like carry on a book and have it to be meaningful. So all of these products have been tested over the last 2 years with a loved one of mine, and the goal is to try to find a product and set up a room that is as foolproof as possible. Because you might think, oh, well, my dad was an engineer at NASA, there's no way he's not going to figure out how to dial a cell phone. But yeah, so you can have a NASA engineer that cannot for the life of them dial a phone number. So I'm going to start with the simplest one. This is the Flipper remote control, available on Amazon and other places. There's actually websites that cater to Alzheimer's products. So, but this one is very simple on Amazon, and remote controls are probably the #1 most common headache for people with dementia, or if you're the guy who has to go over to your mom's house and fix the remote all the time. This requires pretty high level thinking to set it up, so there's instructions that go with it, but once it's set up, this one was never cracked in 2 years. So basically it's called a flipper because you flip it down, and when you get the flipper, there's going to be a big piece of paper that has different types of TVs and then also different cable companies. So I had no problem setting up a Samsung to Spectrum or whatever. So basically you'll have all these codes you put in, and then you can also select which channels. So I had just picked 15 channels so that he didn't have like hundreds of selections to choose from. It was just like the History Channel, the National Geographic Channel, news, things that I knew he would like. Then you're probably thinking, well, why don't they just flip it and screw it all up? Because also they allow you through a code and not through a button to lock this. So once it's locked, you just slide it up. They can do that all day long, but it's never going to be able to change the fact that all they can control is power on and power off, the channels you set up on the cable, not on the TV. So they'll only usually have just one input. You won't be able to set up DVD players and all that, because that's not going to be something that is a good idea. And then volume, and that's it. And so this gives everyone peace of mind, and I even can use this with no problem. I enjoy it. It's so much simpler than the other one. So that's the Flipper remote control. Okay, number 2 on the list is also something that was very valuable to us, which is the Picture Care phone. You can get versions of this on different websites. I haven't checked Amazon what they have it. I got it from, it was like Alzheimer's.com. And Alzheimer's, just on as an aside, you don't have to have Alzheimer's to have dementia. It's just a form of dementia. So you can have lesser forms of dementia and still have a lot of problems with phone calls. So the beauty of this phone Firstly, it's an old-fashioned phone. It's not a cell phone. Most seniors now can kind of use cell phones when they're at their maximum capacity. So, but everyone can use this. So maybe not like a 5-year-old because they don't know what this is about. But anyone who's old can use this phone. But what's the beauty of it? It's called a picture phone. You can set it up in multiple ways. Again, it's a little bit hard to set up because you have to program things. But you can set it up on the back. There's these, and then there's different buttons you press. I don't remember exactly how to do it. I remember it was very easy though. And you can set it up to use as a traditional phone. And so each of these little squares has a piece of plastic that you can put numbers under it. So like big blue, it comes with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so if it's set on regular phone, they can just pick it up and then dial it like a regular phone. But what we ended up having to do, because that wasn't at all possible, is you switch it to one touch, and then you put you program phone numbers to faces. So I took off all the other faces, but I did keep mine on there, so I was number 4 there. But we had each of these spots filled up with spaces, and all you have to do is press that, press a button, and it just dials instantly. Wow, that's amazing. And it has a very loud ring, and it also has a little light. So I'll show you a little demonstration of that. The third product is the X-Link Bluetooth Gateway. And so things are already getting more complicated, because the problem with this phone is that a lot of times they don't have a like traditional phone jack at home. So let's say they've been using a cell phone, or if you go to memory cares and some ALFs, and pretty much every hospital, you don't have phone jacks. And why wouldn't they give you phone jacks? Because in a lot of, based on experience, a lot of memory cares do not want phones in the rooms, partly because they then have to spend all this time fixing phones, and secondly, a lot of people with like dementia would just call constantly. So that is a common thing, that there's no easy cure for that other than just putting your phone on silent, of getting 50 to 60 phone calls from mom a day. And you can just selectively answer that. But anyway, so what this product does is allows you to link a cell phone through Bluetooth to this phone. Or to any, so if you don't have dementia, you can have like a regular phone, and then your cell phone will ring to the regular phone, if you like doing this kind of thing. But what makes this product great is, firstly, so you will need a cell phone for this to work. But what I did originally was, you see on the back I've got Velcro. I actually Velcroed this to the bed frame under his bed, and then I Velcroed a cell phone under the bed, and they were linked via Bluetooth, and I just had a constant power supply going into the cell phone. This has a power supply, and this, just like traditional phones, doesn't need a power supply. It just gets the power through the phone line. And wow, that solved a lot of problems right away, because we could call him, and then he could also just do the face pressing. Over time, as things got better, he was able to actually use a cell phone. He really struggled using the phone, but he was able actually to take it around. And again, memory cares generally don't let you have cell phones, or they highly discourage them for the reasons mentioned above. A lot of people in memory care, they don't even think of calling the phone, but a lot of people that are kind of higher functioning with dementia that happen to be in memory care, they still can use a cell phone. So what's beautiful about this is that the cell phone, when you take it out, it's just your cell phone, but when you come into range of the X-Link, let's say your room or 40 feet, it works pretty good. Then all of a sudden, these are gonna connect instantly. And so you come into your room, someone calls you, and it's gonna ring on here. So it saves you while you're in your room losing your cell phone. They don't have to look around for where their cell phone is. They can just see it here, and then when they find their cell phone, they'll put it in their pocket when they're outside of their room. So that is a great product. The third one, and again, you only need this if you don't have a phone jack, or if you want to hook up a cell phone to make the calling in your general area or like your room at a hospital even to be a lot simpler. And most hospitals will allow you to bring in products like this and put them at the bedside. Okay, quick demonstration. I've got the phone hooked up to the Bluetooth wireless link and with the other cell phone, so those can be completely hidden or they can be out in the open as long as they're close to this. And I'm just gonna press my face and that should ring. That's all there is to it. So again, you cannot screw that up. I guess you could, but and then just to show you how it rings, I'm gonna just make that phone call. Please hold. I'm calling here and you'll see the ringing. So it's pretty loud. You can go louder. And then a light goes on if you're hard of hearing. Hello. And one last thing, there is a 911 button. Of course, like most of these products, they think of everything, and you can disable that because that would be pretty funny if you're like, my son's not answering the phone. So that is the Future Call Picture Care Phone. Number 4 is this behemoth. This is the large Amazon Echo, and you're thinking, oh, why is the Amazon Echo in here? These are actually, this was a great product, or still is a great product. They're annoying in general. I don't really like them that much because they're not that useful. Unless, you know, you can control light bulbs and this kind of thing. But they are super useful if you have a relative with dementia and you want to video chat. Because try FaceTiming with someone, and that's going to be a huge problem because they have to, again, remember, you're trying to make everything as simple and foolproof as possible, meaning there's no way to screw it up. With the Amazon Echo, you have a feature called drop-in, which literally makes it impossible to screw up because you don't have to touch anything, you don't have to say anything to have video chatting, as long as the person on the other end knows what they're doing. So basically, and I'll show you a demo of that in a second, it's really cool. But basically, you just have to have this somewhere in their room or their hospital room. Hospitals will let you bring these things in. You put it right on the bedside table, and they can be sleeping, they can be whatever, and you'll be able to pop in on them without them having to answer. And you're like, that's an invasion of privacy. Well, it does allow you, as you'll see, it gives them about 7 seconds of blur on the other side so they can't actually see you. But yes, theoretically, you could use this, like if they're in ICU and they're intubated and they're sedated, you could theoretically, I don't know if they let you in an ICU, I mean, you could try. You could just pop in and see them. They probably wouldn't let you do that because you're not allowed to have cameras and that kind of thing. But something like a rehab unit, I can't see why they would object to that if you're just using it to phone call. So anyway, so we're gonna demonstrate that. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the person's side. You have someone there, but he's only seeing this corner here, so it's fuzzy right now. So you're seeing here what he's seeing, so you could scatter, and now he's gonna get clear. Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks.
Do you find the sound is pretty good with this thing?
It is pretty good, yeah, it's definitely clear.
So the Echo Show has like 13 or something microphones all around, so you can kind of whisper and it'll still do it. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Okay, and then you can usually the other side would hang up, or you can hang up on your end. Okay, so those are my 4 products. That's all we needed to buy to navigate through dementia that was pretty severe, and it really made his life more meaningful because everyone was able to communicate with him. You can see him, and I'm filming this during the quarantine, and there's a lot of people that they can't see their loved ones, or they're in like an assisted living or a memory care with no phone, and it's really sad. People aren't able to communicate, and it's sad for both sides of the party. So really being proactive with this, and really helps. You you know, sleep better if you're in the position where you have to, if you feel like you have to have someone else, you know, providing the care for most of the time. And it helps them have a much richer life and not feel like they've been abandoned by their family. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if you have any other products that you feel would add something to this situation, just feel free to put them in the comments. And I'll see you next time.